Please welcome on stage Philippe Ensarguet.
Bonjour Thomas. Hi, nice to meet you.
Good morning.
Enough with the German people. Let's go French.
So let's go from cars to telco, which actually is more interrelated than we think, because for real self-driving, it doesn't work without the telcos and the car manufacturers working together. Philippe, great pleasure to have you here. You have a great and deep knowledge about transformation at Orange and open source. And so maybe you can share with us what were the things you had to get right so that Orange can transform into the next age.
Okay, so first, it's very, very nice to be with you guys. So, like I think you all know, we are at a very particular moment in time because regardless of your business and your location, every companies that I know basically need to face two main challenges: how to reinvent themselves and how to differentiate themselves. And this, at a moment where the features of the product, the business model, the operational model are getting closer and closer. And something that I think very, very exciting is that since, I would say, a little decades, technology appears to be a tangible pivot to support the company to realize their challenges, bringing innovation, bringing business agility, and bringing an ability to adapt to the competition pace. And of course, we at Orange, we are not immune to this trend. We are moving from, I would say, a very traditional legacy ecosystem to what we may call a techco environment, an environment of a technology company. We are moving from, I would say, single stack, single vendor tied to hardware to fully disaggregated and software-based, I would say, defined environment. So we are in front.
Open source software, right?
True.
Just checking.
Yeah. You're right. So yes. So we are in this move, and Christian Heidemann, our CEO, reinforced this message in our latest Build the Future plan. So yes, it's about, I would say, the software, the API, the automation, the cloud native, the observability. But you know what? It's not only about technology for a very, very simple reason, because it's not only an evolution. We can all buy an evolution if it's only technology, but we are in front of something that is much, much more holistic to manage the whole change. So it's about, of course, I would say, the culture, and it's as well about, I would say, the people. You can't succeed in our life and in our world without betting on those three core components. So it's not an evolution, it's definitively a revolution. And you need to earn your revolution if you want to have the full benefits of it. And of course, Thomas, open source is a pillar of this transformation.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I trust French with, it's doing a revolution. And strikes. So we talked about defense, offense. I mean, we all have mobile phones, and one thing that we hate is losing coverage, right? So you have also a big part of your service to your customer is defense, like making sure that the network's stable, and even when there are many people in the room. So how do you combine defense and offense at the same time?
Okay, so I don't know any kind of sport that on a long lasting, you're able to win only with offense. It's always a good mix of defense and offense. Run and gun, you can win some games, but you can't win a championship, okay? So when it's about the offense and to integrate innovation, I think that we are at a very interesting converging moment. Basically, what I can observe is that whether you are in digital, in IT, in network, in telco, all those core foundations are converging toward the same environment where it's software-based, API-based, cloud-native enabled. And in this whole space, I would say, we have one, I would say, super player. And the name of this player is definitively open source that unlocks a lot of potential.
This is what I was going to ask you. So you're doing amazing things. We know that any telco, and specifically Orange, is transforming from offering the basic, network capabilities to much more higher level services. And you've done some things in a very smart way. Actually, you didn't try to do it on your own. You created a team around you, even with competitors. So if you can share a little bit about your open source initiative.
Okay, so for us, open source, basically it's three things. The first one is about innovation, second one is about the owning model, and the last one is about collaboration. Innovation is quite simple. We have so closer technical title at this moment that I don't know a tech company, able to jump in and define alone a standard. It's absolutely impossible. And what we are observing, whether is it in the software, in the cloud native, in the machine learning space, companies like you that may face direct competitors, you decide to join your force and to build the core foundation, and then you differentiate yourself, I would say, beyond this ecosystem.
Because we're much better than the competition. But.
Yeah, true. But I think that it's super important to catch that there is no better place for innovation than in open source. Second point that is very important for me as well is the owning model and the journey you want to propose to your employee and to your teammates. For me, when you are entering into an open source journey, it's a journey of doer, it's a journey of learners. And we are at a moment where the competition is so strong that if you do not have your own intellectual property by doing things that make you different on your core business, it's very, very difficult to compete on the long run. And the third and last one, I think it's the way to do collaboration. I would say a company like mine, a few years back, when you want to work with partners, with competitors, with peers, the only things that we were able to do is a joint venture, so a binding legal stuff that was complicated to maneuver, if I can say. And we have a very, very nice example. So the Sylva project. So Sylva is the first Linux Foundation Europe hosted project. So the idea behind Sylva is to develop an industrial-grade cloud-native telco stack. So we manage this, I would say, with European operator peers plus Nokia and Ericsson 18 months ago in an exploratory mode, I would say in a closed mode. And we decided to open source the project in last November. And the idea is definitively to manage three things. To define a framework with all the requirements that we, as network and vendors and telecom operators, we need to build our new stuff. The second one is to have a reference implementation, because in open source, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't know successful project without a reference implementation. It's absolutely mandatory.
It starts with the code, unlike standards in the past. We were starting with specifications, and then the code was coming next. Now it's coming with the code first.
Exactly. And the last part is about the validation framework. And something that is very, very important is that for all those telecom players, we are defining this core infrastructure to run basically 5G, Open RAN, and edge services. And you are part of this journey. We worked together because we defined and we committed code to Sylva on cluster API to bootstrap Kubernetes infrastructure on bare metal environment. But it's not only about Sylva project. It's as well what we inside Orange we are doing with you from SUSE and in particular with Rancher. You are present in more than 15 different entities today. We have several hundreds of Rancher clusters live. And something that is very interesting is that what you are doing on immutable operating system and on security with Noise Vector is very, very exciting for us. And we already have one of our enterprise market entity who deploy Noise Vector for security coverage. So I think it's perhaps a recent and a nascent partnership, but that's settled very, very, very nicely.
Thank you for that. We are very proud of being part of the Sylva projects and to contribute together for such a successful open source technology.
And Philippe, what I really admire about your initiative is that you apparently have discovered that although you're competing with many of the partners which you embark in Sylva, you agreed on a common stack which would help all of you, and then each of you individually can focus on differentiating topics. So you didn't try to build everything from A to Z by yourself, which I believe is also a learning to be made by more industries. I'm thinking about automotive, where every auto company is trying to create their own operating system these days. I'm sure they will follow soon the example of what you're saying and going, you know what, there's a layer which doesn't differentiate us, but it's hard to build, so let's do it together. And
something, if I may, that is very, very important. If Sylva is born in the telco industry, it's absolutely not bounded in telco industry. If you guys in the room, you have topic, for instance, in space, aerospace, industrial manufacturing, and that you need, I would say, infrastructure to carry over your edge services, for instance, and if you want to use bare metal and bet on what the SUSE team has committed with us, honestly, it's really, really open. We are at a time of the project where we are entering as a founded project at Linux Foundation Europe, so it means that we are really entering in the next stage in terms of maturity, and of course, we are very welcoming all over industrial outside telco ecosystem, because I truly believe that there is a room for everyone who have cases about the edge, the RAN, and the 5G.
Great example of a community at work happening right here at SUSECON 23 Munich. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Merci Thomas. Thank you.